Alright, more fun today. Today is beautiful out. It's like 55, 60. So, we're going to focus on ball joints. For some reason, my tires are towed in most of the time. Especially when I back park, I'll notice that when I reverse into a spot, the tires will be sticking with a lot of camber on them. And it's really annoying. Right now, they don't look too bad. For some reason, I was moving forward and backwards, so maybe that was why. But I'm pretty sure the driver's side lower ball joint is a little messed up or something. There's movement here and there. So, regardless, I'm going to replace them and see if I can't fix my camber issue. If it's not the ball joints, it's going to be the wheel bearings, and that'll give me an excuse to upgrade to some roller bearings instead of the ball bearings. One more thing I forgot to mention is this is a safety part. You want to be extremely careful with the way that you do this, because if you don't do this job correctly, your vehicle could be extremely dangerous on the road. The ball joints are what keep your knuckle attached to the axle. So if the ball joints fail or you do something wrong and they fall out or something and your wheel comes flying off, you crash something, it's not going to be fun. So this is a safety concern. Make sure that you do this correctly. You don't want to mess this one up. With the tire off, you can see the rotor and the caliper assembly a lot better now. For the calipers, you're going to need a 7mm Allen key? Hex? Whatever the fuck that is. 2 of those take the slide pins out on those rubber boots, and the caliper will come out. With the rotor and the pads and the caliper out, I like to put the caliper here. Something neat I found out, this is going to fall, but if you just go like this, then all the weight will push it and it'll hold it there, and it's in there pretty securely. To get this wheel bearing off here, you got 3 bolts. They are 12 point, but most sockets are 12 point anyway. That's what one of the bolts looks like right there. If it'll focus. Thank you. You got 3 of them. 1, 2, and 3. So you're going to take them out. Now, if this is the first time that you've taken this wheel bearing out in a long time, you're going to have some fun. You're going to need chisels and hammers and lots of beady things. But hopefully mine slips out a little easier. Check this out. Look at how fucking much that drops. I'm assuming that this is supposed to be tight, you know? It's not supposed to move or anything, but that's a bit of movement. Get yourself a big old breaker bar. That'll usually do the trick. So they're all broken free, and I got the hub out. Now that just took a little bit of beating on the outside, and then I could get one of these open enough to pry it. You don't have to unbolt the wheel bearing from the axle shaft. You just pull the axle shaft straight out. You don't have to worry about messing with the preload torques and all that crap. So with that free, all we got now is the ball joints. Okay, this is possibly a 1 1/4 inch bolt. I don't know. I had to hammer it in to get it to fit. It was pretty close. The size is between a 30mm and a 36mm if it is metric. It might be slightly bigger than 1 1/4 inch. So that's the big bolt out. Now for the tiny one. Okay, this top nut here is a 7/8 inch nut. So I broke that free with a breaker bar pretty easy. That wasn't really that difficult. Alright. Now the separating portion. I like to keep that one on there just a little bit so when this does drop, it doesn't land on the ground and mess up your knuckle. Side note about the knuckle. If you notice that the stud wobbled out the knuckle joint, you should get an entire new knuckle. Reason being is if it's wobbled out, the tires put a lot of stress on that area. And if it wiggles back and forth, you could break the ball joint stud, meaning your wheel's going to fall off. So that's another dangerous thing. So if you got any, if your tapers fuck up in your knuckle, you need a new knuckle. Also, here's that diagram that talks about if the taper's loose, how the thread could snap. So, just one of advice. So to get this off, you can use a ball joint separator or a pickle fork. There's a little spot up here at the top that you can hit on with a hammer. Okay, so from what it looks like, the bottom ball joint stud is stuck into the knuckle. Now, here's something interesting. This is a Dana 30 axle on a 1989 Jeep Cherokee. and mine had the CAD axle system, the central axle disconnect with the vacuum lines. If you have a Jeep, I think before 1990 with an MP231 transfer case, you have this stupid CAD system, and it's a little box that you'll see on the passenger side that's casted in. If you have that, then I believe you will have something called a split ring adjuster inside your knuckle. So if we come underneath in here, I don't know how easy it is to see because it's all muddy, but there's a ring in there. And it's called a split ring because there's a split down the middle. And it's used for a preload setting for the knuckle. Now, it seems like the ball joint stud is stuck into that thing. You're going to need a special wrench to get that thing out. And it looks like this. The OTC ball joint spanner wrench. 7080 is the part number. And it looks like this. So it's got 4 little notches on it. And you'll need a 1-inch socket if you want to actually put it in something useful. So it will align in there, and then you might be able to get it to break free. So if I can get it to twist, maybe I'll be able to get the ball joint stud out. If not, I'll have to mess around with it some more. But anything after 1990, you don't have to worry about this bullshit, and it should just come off. Also, if you want, you can take your tie rod end off if you just want to make this easier. Okay, so in order to take out your ball joints and put the new ones back in, you're going to want one of these dealios. I rented this from AutoZone for a little over $100. It's an OEM 27023 ball joint U-joint press. You're going to want to make sure that this one is specifically meant for ball joints. It's beefy. Very big. You want the biggest motherfucker that you can find that'll fit in there, because the smaller ones will not do it. They will bend, they will snap, and you're going to have a bad time. So this comes with 2 ring plate things. One is good for pushing against studs. The other one is good for making sure that the stud goes through. Or just spacers or whatever. And then you got these rings or whatever for whether you're putting them in, putting them out, or what size they are. Little tip, put some grease in there inside of this thing. Pull it out, put a little grease in, push it back in. That way it'll hold it so it stops falling so much. That is a real pain in the ass. So with the grease in there, it's a lot easier to use this tool. Anyway, let's get to the ball joints. You might also need some flat stock. I don't know if you could tell, but I was hitting on this, and the stud was not coming free. The top one was fine. That one was actually moving. The stud was moving up and down. The bottom one, I was having a real big issue with. It was stuck in there in the knuckle. So what I did, I got this weird contraption set up here. So I have the ball joint press set up. I just got a little cap there just so it has something to sit on. And down here I just got this so that the little pressure thingy can sit on the stud. So I just tighten that up, and in order to get the thing to split, the key component here was my pickle fork dealio. So I took that and stuffed it in there, and I hammered it in as hard as I could go. And then after that, I just kept tightening this up. I actually tightened it as far as I could without falling over. Put some BB blaster on it and let it sit for about an hour. Then I came back, cranked it a little bit more, and boom, came free. At least I hope that's what that sound was. Down and out. Don't forget the tie rod's still connected, so. Delightful piece of shit. What do you think? Trashed or what? I think a little bit of up and down movement is sometimes normal, but all this left and right bullshit I don't believe is good. Yeah, it should look more like this, I think, just up and down. It's got a little bit of sideways movement though. Yeah. So this bottom one was definitely trashed. Alright. And you can see the split ring in there. That's going to be fun trying to get out. So for this top ball joint, the ball joint's going to move up and out. So I got this flat stock here over this spacer. The spacer is the second size that they have that fits around the ball joint, and then this is just to push on the stud. So make sure you got some lube on here before you start. Go to town. That's not town at all. Fuck. Collar. Finally, movement. Holy shit. Yeah, look at that. Blew the top of the ball joint out. Okay, that's the ball joint stud. So now we've contacted the bottom, so we can't go any farther, but we should have movement now. Yes, we have movement. So now we want to see if we can push something on that. Alright, let me use one of my sockets here. Get in there. I've been using this one for pressing a lot. It's 27 millimeter. Hasn't broken yet. Let's see if we'll change that today. We'll just do it like that. Alright, there she goes. She's out. There we go. One fucked up ball joint. That was annoying. Check it out. One less ball joint I gotta worry about. Oh, there's the dumb motherfucker. Oh, God. There's the stud that exploded out the back. That was kind of cool. Spring in there. And the end cap. Okay, now for the bottom one. Oh boy. A lot better actually. Okay. And then we just need to sandwich this guy into there. Alright, now that this fucking mess is in place, tighten it up. After this turn, I think it's bottomed out. Yeah, I think she's already bottomed out. Alright. Back it off. ball joint is free. Excellent. Well, that was a pain in the ass. Okay, so here it is. Lower ball joint. That one at least came out in one piece. But yeah, she kind of moves all around. There you have it. Definitely had to get fancy with all the shit we were doing. With pipe caps and different size stuff. Alright, so besides getting that split ring out of the knuckle, everything's removed. And if you don't have that split ring, then you're at the halfway point. Now it's just putting all the shit back in, so lucky you. Okay, so taking the knuckle out is definitely going to make this next part a little easier. So now you can see the split ring a whole lot better in there. You can actually see the split now, right there. Now what I did, I took a little pick and I sat there and I tried to clean out all the threads as best as I could and really get in there. Try and clean out the split so it'll actually open up. Get PB Blaster in there, and then I took a hammer and I beat it on every single corner a couple whacks to try and free it up, and now she's totally free. She'll come right out. So now with our hunky-dory little tool here, this already bottomed out of the other side, so I'm going to run it out the bottom to try and clean the threads up a little bit. But yeah, cool. This is definitely a lot easier to take out after the ball joint has been removed, so do that after so you don't fuck your tool up. Okay, so that's what the old split ring looks like. Finally got it out, cleaned up the threads for the most part. Here's the new one, nice and shiny. So that'll go on the bottom.